It's Wednesday, the 8th of December. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blanco Lirio channel. There's another Boeing 737 down, this time in Tehran, Iran, last night. Here's the facts as we know them so far. Ukrainian International Flight 752 went down 6:12 a.m. after departure from Imam Khomeini International Airport. This was just hours after the rocket attack that Iran launched on air bases in Iraq. The Flight Radar 24 ADS-B data indicates that the aircraft reached an altitude of about 8,000 feet, 275 knots, and was climbing at a rate of nearly 3,000 feet per minute. That's a good two-engine rate of climb rate for a 737, and was on a heading of about 312 degrees. The Flight Radar 24 data appears that the aircraft took off straight with a little bit of a turn to the right. I did not get the distance of this flight or the time of this flight, though it was a very short-lived flight. 176 fatalities, including 9 crew members. The fatalities included people from Iran, the Ukraine, Canada, and other countries. The aircraft is a 2016 model Boeing 737-800. That's the NG, the next generation of aircraft. This has nothing to do with the Boeing 737 MAX series of aircraft. Those aircraft are still grounded worldwide. The elevation of the airport is about 3,300 feet. The aircraft reached an altitude of 8,000 feet. That put them about 5,000 feet above the ground, 4,700 feet above the ground. Iran initially responded by saying there was technical problems with the flight. They ruled out the thought of terrorism, and they retracted that statement since. There was no emergency call from the crew. The data recorders have been located, and that's what will tell us what happened to this flight. Both the cockpit voice recorder and the data recorder have been found, but Iran is unwilling to hand them over to Boeing aircraft. Typically in these international accidents, the manufacturers want to get involved with the investigation as well. That would include Boeing and Safran from France. The NTSB is trying to get involved with the investigation and is working with the State Department now to try to figure out how to get involved. But until we get those data recorders, we're just speculating as to what happened to this aircraft. The FAA restricted flights in the area yesterday, Tuesday, U.S. flights. Now, what do I think happened on this crash? Looking at the footage of the wreckage, there are just too many puncture damage. There's too many holes in the side of the aircraft that do not correspond to crash damage from when the aircraft impacted the ground to not rule out the very strong possibility, in my opinion, that this aircraft was possibly shot down. There's video footage, cell phone video footage of what appears to me to be authentic footage of this aircraft going down, and it shows the aircraft well on fire, more than what appears to be more than just an engine fire. It appears to be an engine and possible wing fire spreading rapidly. Also, you can see in this video pieces of what appears to be pieces of airframe or parts leaving the aircraft as it's descending while on fire. There is a bright increase in the intensity of the fire just before the aircraft hits the ground, and of course a large fireball once the aircraft hits the ground. Iran has a proliferation of missiles, including man pads. These are the shoulder launch type fired missiles. I don't know what their missile air defense system around the airport consists of. My experience with these sorts of systems dates back to the early 90s, flying 141 Starlifters out of Mogadishu airport. We were constantly targeted by these systems, but in my case, we were never fired on. Fortunately, at the time, the Somalis were having a very hard time getting the batteries and getting their shoulder launch missile systems fully operational. But we were constantly under the threat of this. Getting the truth out in these sort of situations is always a challenge. And another challenge during these sorts of conflicts is losing control of your command and control structure, losing control of your air defenses. Who's got the trigger on these man pads and who's firing these things off? So if we get more information, I'll let you know here. I'm working on wrapping up my report on the Atlas Air crash over in Houston. That's a long one. We get more information, we'll let you know. See you here.